awakes to the sound of gunfire. She looks around and sees that Nikki is gone, the door partially opened. No, Rich, Danny, get up. Now, Nikki is out there. She needs help. O'Neill and Danny pop up. What the hell, Erin? Where's Nikki? She's outside. I heard gunshots. Danny, are you able to shoot? You should know better than to ask that, Danny says as he picks up his M200. Erin starts towards the door. Erin, you stay here. You're Danny's spotter. I'll get to Nikki. O'Neill reaches into his pack, grabs 2 of the glass bottles inside, and runs out of the cabin. Danny and Erin climb up to the roof. Danny takes position, his cheek resting on the stock of his rifle. Erin puts a pair of night vision binoculars to her eyes. What the hell is wrong with people? Why the fuck would you go outside when you know there are killer fucking dogmen on a rampage? God damn it, woman, O'Neill says to himself as he runs towards what can only be described as an avalanche. Nikki is running as fast as she can. Her legs feel like they are about to fall off, her lungs burning. She feels the earth rumble as the beast chasing her is catching up. She can hear the beast taking in massive breaths behind her. She feels a claw tug on the back of her hood. She screams as she unzips her sweatshirt. The beast stops as he looks at the piece of clothing hanging on the end of his claw. He looks up at the female fleeing for her life. He lets out a massive roar. O'Neill looks in the direction of the scream and runs towards it. Come on, Nikki, keep running. O'Neill sees Nikki running through the brush. Nikki, O'Neill screams. Nikki, over here, this way. Nikki sees O'Neill and sprints with everything she has towards him. O'Neill sees the massive beast break through the trees behind her. Holy shit! O'Neill pulls his Zippo lighter from his pocket. He flicks the wheel and a flame appears. He then presses the flame against the alcohol-soaked rag. The rag ignites in flames. O'Neill looks up and throws the fire bottle over her head. The bottle breaks on a tree and explodes into flames. The thermite shavings inside make the flames intensify. Nikki feels the heat on her back as she reaches out for O'Neill. O'Neill grabs her, and they turn, sprinting back towards the cabin. Rich, it's right behind me. That fire will hold it back. O'Neill stops and lights the other bottle in his hand. He knows that fire isn't holding that monster back at all. A soul-shattering roar rings O'Neill's ears. He turns to see the monstrous beast, not even 100 feet behind them, its eyes fixed on O'Neill. Run, Nikki. Go. I see them, 300 yards out, wind blowing from the east. Wow, you're good at this, Danny says as he adjusts his scope. Danny closes his left eye and slows down his breathing. Erin picks up her rifle and pulls the slide. She takes aim beside Danny. The two are ready to unleash fire upon whatever is behind O'Neill and Nikki. Suddenly, an orange and white explosion covers the tree line. Danny, here they come. Oh my God, that thing is massive, she says as she rests the stock of the HK firmly against her body. Danny breathes in slowly, gently squeezing the trigger. Go, Nikki, go. O'Neill throws the glass bottle as hard as he can. Take that, motherfucker, he yells as the bottle explodes and fire erupts. The flames spread quickly, unfortunately not quick enough. The flames just miss the behemoth. It roars, snapping its jaws. It pushes off of the forest floor, barreling towards O'Neill. He pulls his blade and braces himself for the force that's about to collide with him. Boom! The .408 caliber Chaytak bullet slices through the air. The bullet splits through the flesh, skull, and brain of the creature. Blood, brain, and skull fragments explode from the holes in the beast's head. A solid thump as the beast falls to the ground. O'Neill turns around to see Erin running towards him. Rich, Are you all right? Holy fuck. That dude can shoot. Erin laughs as she presses her lips against his. She pulls back. Damn it. We need to go to a small island in the middle of the ocean, Erin says as she smiles widely, tears rolling down her cheek. It ain't over yet, babe. A low, guttural growl rumbles from his moor. His icy blue eyes narrow as he sinks back into the darkness of the forest, his eyes dim as the shadows swallow him. Well, well, look what the cat dragged in. Parker, you old son of a bitch. The two old men embrace each other.
It's damn good to see you, Danny. O'Neill, you look like shit.
Yeah, well, if you had the night we had, you would too, old man. What happened here, Sheriff? Erin questions.
I was hoping you would notice.
Parker answers.
Those two Sicmoor boys came in, guns blazing, with about 5 other men while y'all were gone.
What? O'Neill says. Anger flashes across his face.
Joey and I held them off the best we could, but it wasn't enough. We killed 3 of them. They got 2 of the scavengers. And Billy. Billy was acting weird, like he was friendly with those bastards.
Wait, you think Billy helped them? Asked Erin.
No,
said Parker.
I know that son of a bitch helped them. Then those bastards killed him after he let them in.
Wait, where's Dakota?
Dakota is out with Todd now. They're dumping the bodies.
Parker continues. Where's Joe? Asked O'Neill.
Son, that bastard Jerry Sicmoor bashed him in the face with the butt of his gun, and they dragged him off. I assume they brought him back to their compound.
We have to get him back, Erin says.
Agreed,
said Parker. O'Neill looks over at Danny. He's placing 408 bullets into a magazine. I take it that means you're in? You got that right, brother. All right, get some rest. We have a long night ahead. O'Neill goes into his room and places his gun against the wall. He sits on his bed and picks up an old sat phone that he had got from Danny. I hope this works, he says as he exhales. He presses a strand of numbers and puts the phone to his ears. Front desk, a voice answers. This is Sergeant Richard O'Neill. ID number? The voice says. 70, Whiskey, Sierra, 8, Niner, Tango, 36, Alpha. Hold on. O'Neill takes a deep breath. Here we go. Well, what do you know? I figured you'd be dead by now, Rich. Me too, Pete. How are Lizzie and the kids doing? Now, Rich, I know you didn't call me to talk about my ex-wife and the kids. Why don't you skip the small talk and get to the point? Fine. I was trying to be considerate. Not really your strong suit, my friend. Fair enough. I'm held up in a small town in the mountains, approximately 4 to 6 hours north of Stone's last known. I'm sure you were tracking him. I have multiple black dogs and hostile civilians requesting extraction for me, plus multiple civilians and 2 combat vets. I know you have a favor or 2 that you can call in to help us out. Now, what makes you think I'm going to waste one of my tickets on you, Rich? Stone was my friend, and he died because of you. We saw the wreckage of your place, as well as the carnage that you left behind. Damn it, King. Stone came to help us. He died on his own terms. Fuck, man. If it wasn't for him, we probably wouldn't be speaking right now. Us? Who's us? King asked in a stern voice. Erin Lance, answered O'Neill. Well, ain't that fitting? How many black dogs are we talking here, man? Be real with me. Unknown. It seems like more and more of them are showing up. Shit, King says. All right, look. It's going to take me at least 72 hours to get something mobilized. You think you can survive that long? We'll try. You better. If I waste one of my favors for nothing, I'm gonna be pissed. Erin walks into the room. O'Neill looks up at her and smiles. See you in 72 hours, brother. O'Neill hangs up the sat phone as Erin sits on the bed next to him. Who was that? She asks. I contacted my old teammate. He's gonna try to get us an extraction from this hellhole. We have to survive for at least 72 hours. Erin looks at O'Neill. Is that all? She says as she giggles. O'Neill puts his arm around her and pulls her close. We've done well at it so far, he says as he presses his lips to hers. Rich, we need to get Joey back. That's tomorrow's problem, Erin. Sleep is our problem now. She laughs as O'Neill rolls her onto her back. 2 days later. Water slowly drips from the drain pipe. A rat scurries across the concrete floor, up the pipe and over his duct-taped wrists. Joe lifts his head up. He has no shoes, socks or shirt on. Scrapes and bruises cover his body, a deep cut going along the left side of his abdomen, the blood beginning to dry. His nose is broken, along with at least 3 ribs, making it hard for him to breathe. Purple and black bruising around his eyes. The taste of copper lingers in his mouth. The steel door opens. Well, Joe, how are you holding up? I bet you're pretty thirsty, Jin says as he holds out a bottle of water. Well, I guess you'll need some help. Jin walks towards Joe, loosening the bottle cap. He lifts Joe's head up and moves the bottle closer to his lips. Go on there, Joey. Take a drink. Joe looks Jin in his eyes.
Fuck you, you fucking sadistic prick.
Now, Joe, I know your mother taught you better manners than that. Jin quickly slams his fist into Joe's abdomen, his lungs empty. Joe coughs, trying to regain his breath. You're trying my patience, Joey. You're really trying my fucking patience. What do you say we kick things up a notch? Jin walks over to the table, puts the bottle of water down, and picks up the handheld torch. He turns on the torch and adjusts the flame. Joe screams at Jin.
It doesn't matter what you do to me, Jin. I'm not telling you a goddamn thing.
You say that, but everyone has their breaking point, Joey. Jin grabs Joe's pants and pulls them down. He goes and grabs a pair of pliers from a toolbox on the table.
What are you doing? Jin! No! Get the hell off of me!
Jin grabs Joe's genitals with the pliers, a crazed laugh coming from his mouth. Suddenly, Rex bursts through the door. Jin, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Jin looks up at Rex. Until you interrupted me, I was going to burn Joe's dick and nutsack off with a blowtorch. Rex slowly moves towards Jin. That's not the way to get information from someone, you simple moron. Jin lets go of the pliers and quickly moves towards Rex. What the fuck did you just say to me? Rex puts his hand on his Colt 1911. Go ahead, you sick fuck. It would be my honor to drop you. Jin laughs as he puts his hands up. We will finish this later, little cousin. He drops the blowtorch and walks out of the room. Rex picks up the bottle of water and walks up to Joe. Joey, take a sip. Rex helps Joe take a drink of water.
Thank you.
No problem. Next time, though, it's not going to end up like that.
Rex, let me go. We grew up together.
Joe pleads with his childhood friend. I'm sorry, Joe. I can't do that. Either way, you're dead. It is just a matter of how and when, unfortunately.
What? Why would you save me just to let me die?
Joe says, tears flowing from his eyes, his voice shaken. Just as Rex is about to answer, Scott and Henry Sicmoor burst through the door, guns in hand. "Rex, what the hell do you think you're doing?" Scott yells, pistol pointed at Rex. "I just saved Joey here from your crazy fucking brother." "Yes, we heard about it. The only thing is now, Jin wants you to suffer what Joey here was about to." "You think you two bastards are gonna carry out that master plan?" Rex says, as he slowly backs up towards Joe. Rex shoots Joe a quick glance as Scott approaches him. "I never liked you, always having to take you with us, all because your mama wasn't around. Watch it, Scott. You know the worst part about our uncle marrying your mom? It was the fact that I had to call that cunt of a mom of yours, Auntie." Images of his mom flash through Rex's mind. Rex smiles. He moves with precision, grabbing Scott's wrist with his right hand, moving him down towards his right. He gets control of Scott's weapon, then snaps his arm at the elbow. A loud crack as the bone rips through the skin. Blood flows from the wound. Scott screams in agony. Rex points the gun at Henry's forehead. In one motion, he pulls a knife from his belt and cuts the duct tape that was securing Joe to the drain pipe. Joe drops to his feet and coughs. "Back up, Henry. Don't make me kill you," Rex says to his cousin. He looks back at Joe. Joe regains his feet, holding his side. Rex pulls his pistol, pointing the end of the barrel on Henry's face, and gives Joe the USP-45 he took from his cousin. "Henry, move the fuck out of my way. Help your brother, then go tell Jin what happened." "Fuck you, Rex. You ain't leaving this room." Suddenly, an explosion. The force shakes the room. The three men stumble. 2-0 Alpha. This is Overwatch. I'm in position. Over. Copy that, Overwatch. We're 30 seconds out. Over. Copy that. 2-0 Alpha. Hold your position. Tango on 6 o'clock. High from your position. Danny takes a deep breath in, and as the crosshair steadies, he drops the tango with a single shot to the forehead. O'Neill barely hears the sound of the bullet penetrating the skull of the man above him. 2-0 Alpha. All clear. Move in. O'Neill signals to Parker that he is clear to pick the Mortiz cylinder on the door. A click confirms that the door is unlocked. Parker stands and moves to the right side of the door. He slowly turns the knob and opens the door. O'Neill quickly moves in, followed by Erin, then by Parker. The trio silently moves through the courtyard. A low crack followed by a thud as a man with a bullet hole in his forehead drops to their left. Danny smiles as he pulls back the bolt on his M200. The trio continues. They stack up on the corner of the main building. 4 men are standing around the exterior staircase. They need to go down. O'Neill peeks the corner and signals to Erin to move left and for Parker to hold his cover. Erin quickly moves to the left, and O'Neill comes around the corner with his rifle raised. He switches his firing mode to a 3-round burst. He drops the man on his far left with a quick tap of the trigger. A single pop comes from the HK-416 in Erin's hands. The man leaning his back against the wall drops to the ground. The 2 men to the left look up, just as O'Neill lets go 2 quick bursts. 6 bullets hitting their mark as blood squirts from the chests of the 2 men. O'Neill and Erin quickly move to a corner and signal Parker to move. Parker jogs to the 2, and they move down the stairs. "All right, Sheriff. Time to put that breaching charge to good use," O'Neill says to Parker.
"You two better stand back a tad,"
Parker says with a twinkle in his eyes. Parker places the charge on the door, then turns and hits the trigger. The explosion is deafening. O'Neill moves through the doorway. Bullets fly through the air, connecting with the skull of the fat man trying to stand up. O'Neill narrowly escapes a blast of buckshot as another man comes through a door on the far side of the room. The man shakes as his flesh gets ripped apart by bullets. Parker releases the trigger on his M4 as he grabs O'Neill under his arm and helps him to his feet. The trio continues to move through the lowest level of the main house of the compound. They tactically clear each room with deadly purpose. A door flies open. Oh my God. Joey. Parker yells. Rex and Joe come walking out of the room. Parker runs up to his young friend and puts Joey's arm over the back of his neck. Erin, help me. O'Neill puts his hand on Joe's shoulder. It's good to see you, my friend.
Took you long enough.
O'Neill looks up at Rex. Thank you. Rex nods his head. Blood sprays from his chest. A ring fills O'Neill's ears. Another hole appears in Rex's throat, followed by another. One more appears in his stomach. Rex drops to his knees, then smacks his face on the hard concrete floor. Blood pools around his body. Erin squeezes the trigger. 5 bullets fly through the air, ripping apart the head and chest of Henry Sicmoor. 2-0 Alpha, do you copy? 2-0 Alpha, come in. It's getting crazy out here. Danny says over his radio as he drops another man. Get out of there, now. Joey, you better be able to run, O'Neill says as he loaded a full magazine into his weapon. The 4 of them make their way to the exit, dropping the Sicmoor's crew as they move through the house. The flashes from automatic gunfire light up the dimly lit rooms. The team runs out of the front door of the house. They come to a stop as they face 12 men with AKs pointed at them. Jin Sicmoor steps forward. Well, well, well. Look who we got here. I was expecting that y'all were going to come for Joey here. With my inside man gone, I wasn't sure when. Look, here you all are, Jin laughs. Now, why don't you drop those fine weapons of yours and get down on your knees? I don't think so, Parker says. Yeah? Jin lifts his AK and fires. A loud smack as the bullet hits Parker in his forehead. The bullet explodes through his skull as it flies out the back of his head. Blood and brains spray the wall behind him. Erin screams out. Joe drops to his knees and begins to sob. O'Neill looks on in shock as Parker's body hits the ground, blood pouring from the massive hole in his head. I think it's time you fuckers listen to what I say and drop the damn guns, or you can join the old man. A bright white light fills their vision. Behind the ringing in their ears, automatic gunfire can be heard along with the sound of screams. O'Neill, Richard O'Neill. O'Neill raises his hand and his vision begins to return. A tall man wearing a black camo fatigue, holding his hand out, comes into his vision. Rich, get the fuck up. Pete, is that? Sure is. Now get the hell up. O'Neill takes his friend's hand and stands to his feet. Thank you, Pete. I owe you big time. This was easy. Nothing easier than taking out a group of unorganized hillbillies. O'Neill looks around. He sees Jin laying dead on the ground, bloody holes covering his body. Wait, where's Erin? O'Neill begins to yell. I'm right here, said Erin. She grabs O'Neill and hugs him tightly. I know you, she says to King. Miss Lance, it's good to see you again, answered Pete. Sure is, thank you. A massive arm wraps around O'Neill and Erin. I'm so glad you two are all right, Danny says as he squeezes his 2 friends. Parker, he says, I'm sorry, my brother. We're going to clean this shit show up and roll out. What about the wolves? A young woman's voice says. The group turns. Nikki, oh my God. One by one, They give their young friend a warm embrace. No sign of them, a man in black fatigue says. That's not good, Erin whispers in O'Neill's ear. Hopefully they moved on. I'm sure King will get his teams to find them. That's a problem for another day though, babe. Erin smiles and leans her head on O'Neill's shoulder. Can we get the fuck out of this place now? If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to Descent into the Unknown for more horror content. If you have any real cryptid encounters, or you're a horror writer wanting to share your stories, please feel free to email me in the description anytime.